Hey everyone, today we're going to open up the rock tumblers and see what everything looks like. They've been running for 5 days. Now, the National Geographic one right there spins faster than you probably want it to. Most people recommend only doing that for 3 days, and the other one there about a week. That one takes longer, but it doesn't chip your rocks from it spinning too fast. A lot of people recommend using this one for step 1, the aggressive part. If it chips it doesn't really matter. Then using one of these for the finer polishings. Now I love how this one has a timer, and you wouldn't want to put it on the higher speeds. This one has a set speed. It gets a little warm to the touch. My girlfriend has the same one that got very, very warm to the touch. I'm not sure why. And this thing here, if I'm not home from now on, just in case it, for the rare possibility, starts a fire, it's going in the middle of the room on the concrete floor. And I'm going to show you my concern. So every time I'm filming a video, whether it's of the aquariums here or over there in the other room where I film my old vintage food videos, I try to get rid of some background noise. I know one day I did a video where everyone was complaining because they could hear like the washing machine in the background. No one's ever complained about the dehumidifier. It's pretty quiet. It's just a nice white noise. But I usually go in here and click. When I'm done, click it back on. When you click it back on, this one doesn't start by itself. It messes up the timer and everything, but it's okay. Just remember where it was. My concern is this one here. When you turn it back on, it doesn't always start moving again. The motor's just there going, and that's a fire hazard. So, it doesn't do it as much now. At first, I had the drum, I believe like this. And watch, when we turn it back on, it's not going to do it for the camera. But it was far more likely for it to not start moving again like that. And I noticed it slightly rubbing here, and I thought maybe that could have been it. So that's why I went ahead and swapped it around like this, and it made that less likely. It's not going to do it for the camera, of course, but I had a few incidents where it wouldn't start moving again. But we are actually going to shut these down right now, and we're going to open them up. And do not ever put this down your sink. You have to do it outside. So if I leave them like this for half a day, or this timer ran out and I wasn't home and it sat like this not moving for a week, the sludge inside of there is going to turn to like concrete. It's going to be very difficult to get it out of there. Pour this down your drain, it's going to harden in your loop, the trap under the sink. See that? If I dumped it down that drain, it's going to harden in there like concrete, ruin your plumbing, or even worse, a low spot in your pipe you might not know about that's not accessible like that. So if I clog that loop right there, I don't really care. I know how to do that. I can get rid of it. But what if it causes a problem to like my septic? Do not put this down your anything. Do it outside. Spray it out. And if it's the middle of winter and you're like, but it's so cold, and I already winterized my faucet. Most people have a faucet in their furnace room. That's where I'm getting all this water for the aquarium. Bring it outside. They even sell adapters. Screw it onto one of your faucets. Bring the hose outside. Because I get it. In the middle of winter, even though I have frost-proof faucets, if it's negative 40 outside and I turn that thing on, as soon as you shut it off, it's gonna freeze instantly and you're done. That being said, we're going to open these up today. Someone had a great idea in my comment section. I was saying this thing moves too fast. So would it be possible to put a bigger pulley on here? So if you know the way gears work, just like on a bicycle, if you have a small one going to a big one, it makes it move slower. If we put this big one down here and the small one up top, it would go extremely fast. But what if we made this a little bit bigger and got a belt that would fit that? Seems like a lot of work, and honestly, from the results people get, I'm not going to mess with this. But someone had an interesting idea. Someone actually said in my comments, couldn't you just have 2 gears? Why have the belt? Wouldn't gears be more reliable and then you can make it go slower? I understood what they meant. That's a great idea and it made me think about that. I'm not going to do it, but interesting. So this one, I really like how this is built. This feels like a metal body, plastic undercarriage. These things, I've seen reviews of people using them years on end without breaking. Comes with an extra belt, has a timer. It's really well built, to be honest with you. This thing here, for the price, it is actually probably one of the best things you can buy. This thing here, at first it was $70 on Amazon. I put it in my cart, waited a week. When I went to check out, it had jumped to about $89, I believe. I was like, oh, come on. Went over to eBay, found it for $60, brand new. Before you buy something on Amazon, look on eBay. A lot of people think of eBay as just an online tag sale, but a lot of their products are brand new. And they even have sellers just like Amazon. You could, quantity, that's not used, you could buy a ton of them. This one, on the other hand, after Amazon did that to me, this was also in my cart on Amazon. $310 or something like that. Went over to eBay, found it brand new, $110 instead of $300. Amazon, you tried to mess me out of $10 and you lost that big sale right there. So who's laughing now? I got a good deal. And these ones here are known for being very reliable too. It's a higher end model. It's a more professional grade one. It goes a lot slower. And I like how it has 2 different barrels. You can do 2 different things. You can experiment, we can mess around. So we're gonna bring these outside. We're gonna spray them off, and they should be a lot smoother after just 5 days. Now, when we go outside, I may very well repeat step 1 again. Step 1 is the aggressive grit. It's really grinding them smooth. And if I'm satisfied with them, I will go on to step 2. And if I'm not satisfied, I'll start step 1 again, or maybe half of them I'm satisfied with. I won't put them back in. I'll just leave them to the side while the rest of them do what I want. So if half of these come out good, I will maybe start these ones up with step 2, and I will start this one back up with another rougher step 4. But we gotta go outside and see what's going on. I love this green dollar store bucket. Love that color. Have a nice bucket. Going outside. Here we go. Alright, so I mowed the lawn about a week ago, and there's little particles everywhere. It hasn't been raining. When I start using the water, I don't want this stuff stuck to everything. So I'm over here on the gravel. And these are going to be very hard to open sometimes. Not this one, not that one. It might be hard to get that. Oh, nope, that actually opened pretty easy. Sometimes they're hard to get them open. Not this one. Oh, nope, that opened pretty nice. What about this one? Yeah, this one's hard. Use a washer or a coin, something to pry it. There we go. How about this one? Is this one gonna be a problem? Oh, we broke the seal. Here we go. You see that in there? This would be like concrete in your drainage system. Now I want to put all the parts over here that I don't want to get this splashing on. We're going to clean everything nice and thoroughly. Ooh, look at the foaminess of this one. So now we're going to simply just spray it all out. So, just thinking how I want to do this. I think we're just going to bump. Bump. Ooh. See, you can see how it's like concrete. Look in the bottom of that one. See that? I got a bunch of little rocks in there. They just having trouble coming out of there. I'm gonna have to pick that out with my fingers. Now this one too. I'm not really concerned about mixing them up right now, especially at this fine-tuning stage. Now we're gonna clean them all out, add some water, shake, shake, shake. This would be a lot easier if I had both hands, but see, I'm gonna get that out of there. They're getting cleaner. A couple more times of that. Now there is an easier way of doing this. I need to buy a strainer that I can put these in, like a big soup strainer or a spaghetti strainer. I could just pour them in there and I would have been done in half the time. Add some in there, add some in there. Let's try to get out those few that I saw earlier. Okay. Okay, that's gonna be a stubborn one. Okay, almost got it out. I'm gonna do the rest of this off camera. With both hands free, that actually was so fast. All right, let's see what we got. Super amazingly smooth already, and that's only step one. Look at that shine. It won't look as good when it dries, but it will permanently look like this after step 4. A good polished rock usually takes about 4 weeks. This one here, see how it's still got some pits? Smooth, but not as smooth. So this one we are gonna throw back in for another first step. This one is ready to move on to second step. So these are gonna be second step. We're gonna see how everything went. This one's still got a few pits I wanna get out of it. This part right here will probably never completely smooth out of it, but that's okay. Now this one right here, we're gonna send back through step 1. And something like this, you're gonna wanna toothbrush it out just to make sure grit's not in there if you are gonna move it on to the next step, because grit from step 1 will mess up step 2 because it'll scratch things. Now this one here came out really, really nice. Look at that. But yeah, we're gonna give that one another week. Now this one here came out pretty smooth, but it's still got a few holes. That's going back in another week. This one right here is also very, very beautiful. That's gonna probably come out amazing once we're done with it, but it's gonna go back in another week. This one right here, it's got a little imperfection. We could get that out of there if we really wanted, but I'm gonna let it proceed to the next step. This one here, no, I think we're gonna do another time with that one. How about this one? That is a beauty. Look at that. I'm probably being a little picky here. It's also got a fracture line right there. As we tumble this, that could end up completely breaking. Yeah, that fracture goes... See, it's got a few fractures up there and a much bigger fracture, so... I think we'll let that one proceed. This one here. And this is all up to you. If you... Any of these could potentially be ready to go to the next one. You can have a very shiny rock with some imperfections. Some people like that, some people don't. So, we're going to use one of these barrels. Wow. Where did I get this? I think that's one of the rocks that came with the kit. There's no way I found that beauty. Look at that. That's ready to proceed. This is another pretty nice one. You also got to think about, is it worth tumbling it again because it's going to get smaller and smaller, or do you want to just keep some of that beauty in there? I think this is one I found. We're going to let it proceed. This is one I found that's ready to proceed. This is Tiger's Eye, which came with the kit. And we're going to let that proceed. How about this one? got a few imperfections, so it's gonna go again. That's gonna go again. This I wanna proceed because I actually thought that looked like some kind of characters or hieroglyphics, you know. And this is one that's gonna have to be toothbrushed out a little bit, like literally right now before we put that into the next step. See, they look a lot better when they're wet, and they'll look like this after the final shine. We're gonna let it proceed. We'll let you proceed. This one right here, I wanna polish it like that. Again, grit can get stuck in those holes, so we gotta brush that one really good. It's ready to proceed. This one's pretty nice, look at that. I want to let that one proceed too. Wow, that one came out nice. Look at this. I don't know what I found in that one. It will come out shiny, but why did I keep this? Doesn't have much to it. That came out nice too. A lot of the stock ones it came with, I didn't find these, so I don't really care about them too much. We're just kind of using them as fillers. The blue ones are really nice. All right, I think I was being a little bit too picky with these, so this is gonna go back for stage 1. I want some of these to be a lot shinier. These tiny little pieces that it came with, I don't really care about them. That's just filling space in there so it grinds better. So this right here, we're gonna add more step 1 grit, some water, seal it back up, and let this thing run for probably another week. So this one right here is also not gonna run a week. This is gonna proceed to step 2. A lot of these I don't care about, they're just fillers, but ones like this I really want to see how they come out. So I just went around and I was able to hopefully get everything out of these holes. This one right here will also proceed. So these are proceeding to step 2, that's gonna stay behind. And as these things grind down, they're getting smaller. There's gonna be more space in here. So when we get to like step 3 and 4, we're gonna add ceramic pellets to stop them from banging into each other. With more space, they're gonna be more likely to bang into each other. Ceramic pellets don't grind down very fast, so they'll last a while, they're reusable. We'll add ceramic pellets in here, and that will just basically cushion them when they're polishing so they don't scratch at the same time. All right, let's go ahead and nicely put this back in our bucket. Bring it back into the basement where we can put all these good things back together. Oh, I gotta clean those. I didn't clean those parts yet. Everything else I cleaned. I gotta rub this with my hand a little bit, spray again. We're back inside now, and after being out in the sunshine, it seems dark in here. I have 400 watt equivalent bulbs there. Got those. Got a UV light. 3 more 100 watts. There's got 4 of them that are 60 watts, but yet, after adding all these lights, it still doesn't seem bright enough for me. Okay, let's get to it. All right, so these ones here are gonna repeat step 1. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So at this angle, I'm not getting as much as I should. Now, You can't put really too much, you're just wasting something that costs a lot of money, but you can't put too little where that grit grinds down to where it's not even doing anything anymore. So I put a good amount in there. Obviously there's more space in here since my first video. It's been grinding them down. Do not mix spoons. Have one for each container, because different grits will mess up different batches. So these ones here are gonna move up to step 2, and I can definitely feel it. That feels so much softer. 1, 2, 1. And this is a much bigger spoon, so I don't think we need to put as much. Honestly, what I just did I think is okay, but we'll guess we'll add a little bit more to them both. We're done with that. Okay. Now it's time to bring them over to the sink, top them off with water where the rocks are all just underneath. Then we can screw everything back on, get them started again. Alrighty, over to the sink. You just want to fill them up where they're just underneath a little bit. Ooh. That's okay, that'll work. That's why I turn the water way down. Good. And our one that's staying back a grade is going to be over here. That is good enough. All right, time to seal back up. Push it in like that. Good. Good. Try to make it as even as possible. Screwing it on pretty tight. It actually just stopped. Nice and tight. Here we go. Alright, it's time to start them back up. Here we go. I'm just gonna put it on 9 days. They're only going to be on here probably a week, but I'm putting them on 9 days in case I forget about them. They keep moving, like I said, so they don't turn to concrete in there. Just making sure they're not going to leak. Put you over here. Start. And I'll give you guys an update next week. Thanks for watching and have a great day.